Hey there, everybody. Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC's Extra Time. I'm Sebastian Salazar. We have your questions straight off of Twitter. Get right to them with our incredible trio for today. Frank Leboeuf, Steve Nicol, and Derek Rae. The first question comes from Kartik, somebody who's always sending us in some content for this here segment. How did you celebrate your birthday, Sebi? I hope they gave you a big cake this time around. No. Is this the part where you're going to bring the cake, producers? Because usually when anybody else involved with the show...
Nobody's bothered, do they?
Are you kidding me? I've been doing this show for 4 years. You can't get my birthday right. Unbelievable.
Okay, when was your birthday? When was your birthday?
It was yesterday, Frank.
Yeah, when was it?
Happy late birthday, dear Sebi.
Thank you. Frank Leboeuf respects me more than the entirety of the production crew here at ESPN. Not even like one of those small cupcakes from the cafeteria or something. Unbelievable. And I thought I was disrespected by the panelists on this show. No, it goes much deeper. I see that now. Next question, who is more likely to flop, Griezmann or Eden Hazard? This seems like an easy one. Frank, you wanted just the easy ones.
Whoa, that's not very easy. Can I say both of them? I mean that wasn't very good from any one of them. I mean, well, we all know that Griezmann was a flop, and that's been clear to anybody. But I don't think Eden Hazard showed us that coming to Real Madrid has been a success so far. So can I say both? Do I have the right to say both?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell a World Cup champion that he doesn't have the right to say both.
Okay.
Kartik asks, who will win the Scottish League this season, and can Scotland qualify for a major tournament this decade? Scots in the house. Stevie, we'll start with you.
Celtic and no.
Wow. Quick and to the point. Derek?
That's like asking who's going to win the French league. So
Marseille.
I'm going to agree with Stevie. Celtic will win the title, but I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to say that it could even happen sooner rather than later. But Scotland have a little bit of work to do on the qualifying front first. But it's got to happen. Come on.
Hey,
it's been far too long. Law of averages and all that.
A little. Yeah, right.
Stevie Nicol's not walking through that door. That's what they say around the Scotland
He's not
camp.
having it, no.
Stevie, as a manager, when your team lost because you got your tactics wrong, I think is what we're asking here, would you apologize to the team or still find something to yell at them about?
No, not at all. If you clearly got it wrong, then you say, you know what, this one's down to me. And you know, sometimes you say that anyway when you lose, whether you're right or wrong, because you know you're trying to cushion the fall from losing or whatever it may be or whatever's happened that's gone wrong. So if it's glaringly obvious, absolutely. But actually, even when you lose, sometimes you just say it was yourself, and it takes a bit of pressure off the lads.
Frank, do you ever have a manager take the blame for the tactics in a game you lost?
I don't remember that. I think we didn't have coaches, frank coaches like Steve, you know, who were ready to admit that they were wrong. I think I had Italians, so you know you can count on them, and otherwise I had successful coaches, so I think they never mentioned that they were wrong tactically, but they always put on the players.
So you're saying Stevie was wrong a lot? Is that what I took from that?
Wow.
That was a shot, wasn't it?
Well,
No,
I think it just goes to tell you that there's too many egos around.
All right, let's get to the next one. Has Derek got any special memories about Stevie from his playing days? Derek?
Oh, a lot of very special memories. The Liverpool team that he was part of. I actually remember, and Steve's going to be embarrassed about this, I remember all the articles when he left Ayr United to join Liverpool. And I remember everybody saying, this is a really special young player. Could you imagine Stevie Nicol as a young player now? I mean, yeah, I mean, that image in your mind. I remember him as a young player. I was younger than he was. I may not look it, but I was slightly younger than he was. But that is my main image, this young player coming through and going to a great Liverpool team. And he very quickly became part of the scene there in a good way. So it's all positive, even though Stevie is slightly older than I am.
Yeah, just
but it's hard for us to imagine because television wasn't created at the time.
Brown ball and all that. All right, why do people pretend that great players from the past could keep up with today's game? The players today are better, stronger, faster, smarter, more skilled than even the best players from a decade ago. Discuss, says Herman. Stevie, what do you think?
It's absolutely impossible to say, because you have to remember that you're saying they're bigger, faster, stronger. Well, yes, they are, because that's evolution, you know. Listen, you see kids today, there's not one of them under 6 foot. If you were 6 foot in my day, then you were a big tall guy. So, listen, from that side of it, impossible. Today, you're saying, you know, I'll give you a great example. Phil Foden scored a goal for Manchester City today, who, if he had hit his shot the way he did in the 80s, let's say, the ball wouldn't have reached the goalkeeper. You know, there are so many changes, particularly the ball, you know. Again, the reason they play the way they do today is because everybody, and I mean everybody, can ping a ball from one side of the field to the other side effortlessly, because the ball will go that far. The ball never used to travel that far. So when you were having shots, it wasn't going as hard. It was easier for the keeper. It wasn't dipping and swerving the way it is today. So, listen, guys that used to do things with the balls we used in the 80s, if anybody thinks they couldn't do what they're doing today with it, you're kidding yourself.
Frank, what are your thoughts? Players from the past couldn't hang in today's game?
I think they would. I think they would because they would be more prepared. They will they will make sure that physically they will be fit enough. They will be more prepared in a way that the physio will be there as well to protect them. And the football is different now. I mean, I'm not sure that Mbappe or Neymar or some others like that will be as free as they are now to take on some players, that when we know that defenders were completely different and were harder on players. So seeing Pelé, seeing Maradona capable of doing what they did at the time where defenders were sometimes butchers, make me think that it would have been hard also for Mbappe to play from the yesterday, where I really think that Maradona, Pelé, Platini, Johan Cruyff and some others will be as fantastic as they were playing nowadays. So it's hard to compare. It may be impossible, as Steve said, but I want to think that those players more prepared, more, how do you say, aware of the diet, of what they had to do, will be as good as they've been now comparing to what they did last when they were playing.
Yeah, Stevie, it's an interesting point Frank brings up. Maybe we should be asking this question the other day. Like, how do you think that today's players would do back in the day? A guy like Frank mentions, like Neymar, wouldn't have survived, would he?
Well, it's easy to say that they wouldn't be able to cope with the physical side of it. But again, you've got to realise they would have been brought up to learn how to handle the physical side of it. Yes, Neymar would never get the room that he gets today. And he certainly wouldn't be able to go flopping down every single time anybody touches with a fingernail. So, I mean, they would be as... You can only be as good as you are in your generation. And I would suggest that players today would have been brought up to learn how to cope with the physical side of the game, just the way that Maradona and Pelé and Cruyff and all the other guys handled it back then. So, listen, I can sit here and say the players of yesteryear would be just as good today. So I certainly am going to say that the players of today couldn't have adjusted because they would have been brought up in a different environment.
Next question.
Sebi, can I add something, you know, because we are talking about Neymar, and I saw a fantastic video on Instagram sent by ESPN that everybody should see about Messi, Suarez and Neymar at the time when they were all together in Barcelona, and you see Neymar having his foot on the football, and Suarez kicks the football, and you see Neymar, you know, tripping. but not falling. And I put a little word saying, well, he knows how to not fall. So you should see that. It's absolutely fantastic and exclusive.
All right. So when they say that there's trolls in the comments, we now know that it's Frank Leboeuf in the comments taking shots at Neymar. There are some weird recovery treatments for pros, asks our next question, like taking ice bath after a game to recover for the next one. Have the lads in the studio ever tried that? And what other weird treatments have they tried in the past to recover fast for the next game? Stevie, you in an ice bath. What a visual.
I've got a cracker for you. So, yes, I tried the ice bath. Oh, dear, oh dear, but once you're in, it's not as bad. But if you had an ankle injury, when I went to Liverpool in the 80s, if you had an ankle injury, the first thing they did was they put you in a wax foot bath. You talk about pain. So basically, you put your foot in boiling hot wax. All the wax is meant to cover you all past your ankle, and you daren't move your toes. Because if you moved the toes, the wax would break, and then all the other hot wax would pour into the gap. It was torture. I mean, you sat there like a you couldn't move your foot, or else you had to go through the agony of the hot wax on your bare skin. It was awful.
Did it work?
Who knows? Who knows? They told you to do it, and you did it, and that was it.
Frank, any crazy stories?
Yes, I twisted my ankle, and when you twist your ankle, you have blood, you have hematoma, I think you say, and the some days, they cut the physio cut my ankle a little bit with a knife to see the blood coming out, and he put some. It looks like a snail, but without the house, on top of it, and he sucks your
They
blood out.
put a leech on you. They put a leeches.
Yes,
leeches.
exactly.
What is this, medieval
exactly.
times?
Like
when were you playing? How old are you, Frank?
Yeah, and they got bigger, and he said it was the best way to take the blood out. So it took like 2 hours because he put like 10 times. So and he dried it out, after. So yeah, it was like I don't know, in the 18th century. I did that in Strasbourg in the 90s.
Amazing.
Hey, I've got another one. I just thought of another one. I had a player at the Revs who had a staph infection in his leg, right? So straight away, ordered out the dressing room, go home, take the antibiotics, and then once it goes, you can come back. But for religious reasons, he wouldn't take antibiotics. And he wouldn't let any of the physios into his house when they went round to see what was going on, and he wouldn't let them in. The only person he would let in was me. So I go in, and he's sitting, and he's got a big bowl, and he's got, it was a garlic, some sort of garlic on a cloth, and he was putting it on his staph infection, and he thought that was going to do the trick.
He was French.
Honestly.
With the garlic, it was French.
I don't know what's worse, the garlic or relying solely on Steve Nicol for your medical advice. Derek, what is your favorite part about being...
What was it that? I was the only one that could get in. He wouldn't let the medical guys in.
What a terrible
He wouldn't open the door.
decision. I don't know who this guy was, but I hope it didn't affect his career. Derek, what's your favorite part about being commentator of the video game FIFA? How much work is put in to implement all of your commentary into the game?
I'll answer the second part first. It's about 25 days a year, full days in a studio. The studio this year has been here, where I'm talking to you from, a home studio. And it's vocally quite challenging. That's maybe what people wouldn't think. It's hours and hours of shouting. Not all shouting, but a lot of shouting, and then lower levels. And, mentioning names of players, sometimes ex-players, sometimes Leboeuf might get in the game, if we're doing a legends part of the game. Yeah, it's great fun, that side of it. And I think the best part of it, honestly, is working with a team, because you're working with a very small team and a producer, a sound man, and we just try to get it right. We try to make it as lifelike as possible. And obviously, I'm not playing the game for somebody when they're at home, when they're on their console, and that sometimes can lead to problems because people think you actually are. They sort of think you're hiding under the TV somewhere, commentating on this person's game personally. But no, not the case. But no, it is really great fun to do, and it's an honor to be part of it.
As real life as possible, you should probably have a sideline reporter in that game. I know a guy whose image rights you could use. If you want to mention to your friends, that's all. That's all. Just bring that authenticity, you know. Dan, the Orange Man, with our last question of the day. Frank, thoughts on Marseille launching their own music record label? If you had still been at the club, would you want to be featured in any of the songs?
Not really. I don't know. I didn't even know about that. Marseille was doing that. No, leave me alone with that. You know. I don't know. Maybe Stevie would be fantastic with that. Yeah.
So Frank, part of your acting, you don't want to be on Broadway singing then while you're acting, no?
No, because I'm an actor, I'm not a singer, and I tell you, I'm far away from being a singer. So for everybody's ears, and I think it would be better if I keep silence.
I thought you finished like 4th in the Masked Singer of France. Is that not accurate?
Yeah, but I always said, you know, when I was in England, you know, music is for English people, food and wine is for the French. So we should keep it like that. All right. We know nothing about music.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.